Welcome, Kiss Army, to an exciting look at history from that's right, four longtime fans. The show diving into the band and its 50-plus year career of songs, albums, lineup changes, makeup, no makeup, makeup again, products galore, and the events surrounding it, and saying to ourselves, of course I like it, it's fun, and it's Kiss. But is it critical to history? Join us as we take on the second of the four solo albums from 1978, we're back in the New York groove. It's Ace Frehley, and this is Critical Kiss, 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 Kiss. Critical Kiss, tearing up the screen. With the legends of rock, we're living the dream. Hard-hitting heads, banging never obscene. Critical Kiss, rock and roll supreme. Update on the channel. I think we're up 17 or 18 subscribers at time of recording this from the last episode. That's all thanks to Rick again. 2 months in a row, he's got us all of these new subscribers. We are closing in on 3,000 hours of watch time. Thank you, everybody who sticks around and watches the full episodes. And of course, you can find us on Instagram at Critical Kiss 1. Facebook, just search Critical Kiss. It's basically the same thing as Instagram. Our merch store, link in the description. I also need to do a better job of linking Brant and Rick's merch stores. I think I did last month, but I think I flopped that one on Double Platinum. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. Give this video a thumbs up, Arooski, and leave a comment below. And be ready for trivia later on for your chance to enter a t-shirt giveaway in December. I'm Casey Kasem.
All right, I am Brant from In My Head channel on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Twitter, and on TikTok. And I have not made a video since the last time we had a Critical Kiss episode, but I do promise they are coming back. And got an interesting one coming up in September for the later this month in September for it's kind of solo album slash Phantom related. So, and could be possibly a little controversial, but we'll see. And I've been, hosting with Carla, been talking to some people about other videos to work on with them, and just working out some of the details and waiting on Carla to get moved and get settled before we start back up on some stuff. So that is it from me.
AJ underscore AJ Reyes, AJ Zetro 1975.
Whoa, bleep it. Cut her out.
It don't matter. I don't care. Find me. AJ's Happy Fun Time channel on YouTube. Kiss, horror, and whatever the crap I want to talk about.
That was the greatest intro I've ever seen in my life. Great. My name's Rick. It's All For You Demon on YouTube and Instagram and on TeePublic. I've started a new kind of thing I'm going to do every week on my video uploads. I'm going to kind of write a weekly wax editorial, kind of get me back into writing again. So look forward to that on Friday nights on YouTube community page. And I usually make videos every Friday night, but actually just found out today that they're going to start work on my basement mid-October through the end of November. Woo-hoo. And then I'm going to have to paint and set up the new basement. So I may be not making videos at the end of the year, but it's all good because
you'll still be on Critical Kiss.
Yeah.
And then wax night party at Rick's house in the basement.
Yeah, because I mean, it's been two years, no basement. So
and we're all going to wear our Kiss Hot in the Shade panties.
Yes.
Slumber party at Rick's.
I have them on now.
I really like, before you go, Tommy, sorry to cut you off. I like what you're doing with that extra bit of content, writing that. It's almost like journaling a little bit. And I like that. I really do. That's awesome. Okay, Tommy.
And I'm Casey Kasem.
This is Casey Kasem.
Hello, I'm Tommy, and I'm an alcoholic.
Wrong meeting.
Wrong meeting. Oh, okay. Hey, see what I did there?
It is Ace. You're right.
You're the sex addict one.
Okay. That explains why I'm not wearing any trousers. I'm Tommy, clairvoyant audiophiles. I don't know. It'll get back at some point. I got to get myself straight first. Well, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I gotta get my mind right before I start doing that again. But this is a well needed little bit of kiss therapy. I need this tonight. I know I think we all needed this tonight. And or you can message me on Critical Kiss one on Instagram and I'll respond. But yeah, so that's it. I'm ready to talk about Ace Frehley. Critical moments in history.
I don't want to go back and beat a dead horse with how critical I think the solo albums were. We kind of covered that in Gene. If somebody wants to go back and watch Gene, you can. I'm not going to go over that again. The other guys may want to go over that again. But I just think that the solo albums themselves, as a whole, maybe not in certain ones individually, but as a whole, I think the Kiss albums, as we called them when I was a kid, I think that they're very critical. Some fans view them as a misstep, that they should never happen, that it just created further division. I think the division was going to be there regardless. I think that the solo albums helped Ace and Peter hang on just a little longer. And when we got some really good performances out of all four members of the band because of these solo albums, and they all made the album that they wanted to make. I'm glad they all didn't sound like Kiss albums. That would have been boring. I'm glad that they all sounded different and unique in their own way. That's just my thoughts, but to me, it's just critical overall, just because of it gave us, we talked in the Gene Simmons episode, it gave us the colors of each member that wasn't established before this. It gave us all kinds of merch that, all this amazing merch that come out during this time and after this time between this and Dynasty, that we would not have had the solo albums not come out with the big merch push. Not only was what that was available in the forums, in the merch forms, in the albums, but just all the other stuff that was coming out during this time, the Kiss dolls and all the other stuff that came out. So it was being somebody that was there when it happened. It was magical. We really didn't know it was the good old days while we were there. It was magical. They were superheroes. They were mysterious. You didn't know what they looked like without makeup. You didn't have a VCR, so you just couldn't pop a VCR in and tape them whenever. You had to catch it on live or catch it on a rerun or wait till a magazine came out. It was just a magical time. When it comes to Ace's album, I think Ace's album is critical in a lot of ways because the most whether you believe that it's the best album or not, I'm not here to debate that because that's opinion. That's a personal preference and an opinion, and everybody has their God-given right to their opinions. But the one thing that I can say about Ace's album, and maybe a little more, and possibly Peter's, maybe not Peter's album, but with Ace's album out of the four solos, more than any other album, I think launched a generation of guitarists. Ace was Kids were already really loving Ace because of the solo work that he had done on the previous Kiss albums, the solos that was in Alive and in Alive 2. And then when he had the Shock Me, where he finally on Love Gun, where he got the lead vocal, and then had Rocket Ride on Alive 2, which just took it to another level. And then they put this thing on the platter, and the first song they hear is Rip It Out. It's just like he was just systematically kicking ass with songs. And he was cemented as, one of the greatest guitarists of all time. And whether you prefer his playing style or him as a person or not, he launched millions of guitarists. There's millions of guitarists out there that went on to be in 80s bands, that went on to influence other millions of guitarists, that they cite Ace Frehley as their influence. Dimebag Darrell for one, John Five for one. So he is one of those guitarists, and I think this album is the one that they would all point to. That this album is because it's got such good chops on it, such good solos on it, and so I think to me this is a very critical album to history in general, and along with the solo albums being very critical. I also think, and this is my last thought on it before I let you guys talk, I think it is very critical in that Ace used the smallest amount of people for his production. He literally used like 8 people, and some of them were just doing stuff like background singing, chiming a bell, playing the talk box. This album was mostly like Ace, Anton Fig. Ace played bass on a lot of songs, Willie, and there was a guy that played drums on just Fractured Mirror. And so, and then him and Eddie Kramer produced, and there was some engineers. But core performance wise, this album was made by like 5 people. And Ace wrote a majority of the songs, and he's got a couple covers and some people that helped him write songs, like. But for somebody who just a year before had to lay on the ground to record their first song, and their vocal on their first song, to a year later, or just roughly a year later, put out this, that it's by no means a masterpiece. I won't call it a masterpiece, but just that growth, that accelerated growth in that amount of time, and to put out what some people consider the best album of the four, and to just do it with the small nucleus of the group that he did, it's mind-boggling. Does it have its warts, weaknesses, thin parts? Yes. And we will discuss those. At least I will discuss those, but we will discuss those moving forward. So I'm done. Somebody else.
Anyone else? I tell you, I've been up since 3:30. I don't even know my name, as you saw earlier.
You know your name too well. That's the problem.
That's right. Well, one of my favorite for sure. I don't know what else to say about it, really. It's a great album. It's a great cover. I even bought the shirt when they still had fat guy sizes. They Kiss online. So,
how do you feel when you listen to it?
How do I feel? I feel.
Does it make you randy?
I feel very summery. If with summertime,
for sure.
It's got a summertime vibe to it. It's I don't know how else to describe it. One of my faves. My favorite out of the four.
Least favorite of the four, but that doesn't mean it's not a great record.
Exactly.
I think I like the solo albums in a very nostalgic, cheesy way. And Aces, to me, we've all said it a million times, it's the most Kiss record, right? But it's also, there are 2 records I would use to introduce someone to Kiss. Rock and Roll Over and this. No one needs to know there's no other members of Kiss on here. But if you give them this record, they'll be a Kiss fan, without a doubt. And I think that just shows you the strength of him, the strength of, I wish it wouldn't have taken to the solo albums to get this kind of material out of him. Like, if he would have been doing songs from Dress to Kill on, we would have some great material from him. And I know he wrote Strange Ways and all that stuff, Cold Gin. But I think if he would have found his courage, Prehistory Comic Book says he snorted cocaine before he laid down. But if he would have found his courage in the prior, I think, oh man, you talk about kids wanting to be a rock star, But Rocket Ride, like you said, Shock Me, Rocket Ride, and this are just classic, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. Although, even when I first got this album, when the remasters came out in 97, Paul was my favorite. And it's debatable whether he is anymore or not, but Paul was my favorite, but this was my first of the 4 solo albums. I think Gene's cover is the coolest because of the little bit of dribble of blood. I think Peter's is the most aesthetic, but I think this one, it just screams Ace. The look on his face is just, that's Ace, especially at this time. And, you guys mentioned Shock Me, and he found his courage and all that stuff. And I love Shock Me. I love Rocket Ride even more. And this album, though, I think, spoiler alert, of the 4 is the most critical because it showed Ace that he could do it. Now, did his solo career pan out the way he thought it would? I don't think so, but it could have had he stayed off some of the extracurriculars. And obviously, Gene's album charted a little higher. I think Gene's charted at 23 and Ace's was 25, I believe, if I'm correct. But Ace had the single with New York Groove, and it's a cover. But, for him to have a number 13 on the Billboard charts single, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet with that. We'll get into it track by track, but I think of the 4, this is the most important. Not saying it's not necessarily, I go back and forth between this one and Paul on which one's the best, even which one is the most Kiss sounding record. But in my opinion, it's the most critical.
I would agree.
Have you ever noticed that one of Ace's eyes looks like it's lower than the other?
You'll never
Like
unsee that.
the one on the
He'll
right,
droopy-eyed.
it's droopy eyed. Yeah, like if you take a straight edge and you put it across it,
He's probably hammered.
by the time you're at, by
I
the time
think
you,
I think it's because the hair's coming down.
yeah, by the
Yeah.
time you're at the
Through the
bottom of
full
one eye,
Yeah.
you're not even at the top of the other. You have to get all the way down to
I've
here to
never
get to the
done
bottom.
that, but yeah.
Now, do you have the misprint?
I do not.
This one's a misprint with
Yeah,
the
I always look for them. I do not. Mine is blue. When this is one of the albums when I see it in the rack or see it online, I always flip it over and look at the back or look at a picture. I do this and Alive 2 that way because I'm looking for the misprint on the back.
Shame on me, but is Ace the only one that signed the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. He's the only one.
I love his signature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little merchy merch. I know we ain't at that
think
point
Paul,
yet.
Do you think Paul was kind of pissed at that signature?
Yeah. Yeah, because he made the ace look like a star. And I used to sit and try to like trace over that and like mess around with it.
I can still do their signatures almost identical.
He's coming back. Ace is coming back in November, I think. Days of the Dead, one of them here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Are you gonna do it, Aaron?
I'd like to. It's just so hard for me to walk a lot nowadays. It sucks. And I've seen people that did it, and there's no pictures. There's no photo
Yeah.
ops. There's no table selfies. Though I'm like,
You can't with Peter.
I'll
You
pay
can't.
for a photo op if I had to, but it wasn't even an option. I'm like, there's no
With Peter, you couldn't take photos once you got in the room with Peter.
right,
You couldn't take photos at the table where he
right.
was autographing.
Something
Photo
like that.
you walked out of there with was the photo that you paid $80 for, something like
The
that.
photo op. And
Professional, yeah.
I do it. I mean, I've done it once or twice before, but I mean, that wasn't even an option. I'm like, there's no photo. And then people went and they go, well, I met Ace, and they're like, all these things are signed, but not one picture. I'm like, I need a picture. I'm a
Yeah.
picture guy.
I'm not an autograph or a picture person. I'm more about sharing a memory or an experience, and something about Kiss, it's just like I've had the opportunity to meet all of them and I just can't bring myself to do it because I just feel like it's like kind of like soul crushing almost. Like I just, especially Ace, because he's kind of like, yeah, doesn't even really look up. He's, especially if it's at a casino, he's ready to go hit the blackjack table or whatever. Like, I don't know. I can't bring myself to do it.
I think Ace of the four original is the wild card of, are you going to have a good experience?
Mhm.
Or are you going to get fist bumped
Yeah.
and bye?
Yeah.
And I've even heard Eddie Trunk say that. Eddie Trunk said, I've said to him before, can you act interested? But I think that's just him.
That's
It's
him.
just
Yeah.
his personality.
Yeah. I mean, even when
I would say the Ace poster is the coolest poster of the
Oh,
Yeah.
very much.
I like it.
I will say this real quick on meeting them before we move on to the tracks and stuff, that when I met Peter, even though my time with him in front of him at the autograph line was very short, probably less than a minute. And a minute sounds like it's short, but when you're in that moment, a minute is actually
Yeah.
pretty long. And he signed my box for my Kiss doll, and I had my Kiss on Tour, the Alive 2 tour book. And he went to, when I put it in front of him, he signed the box first, and I didn't have the doll or anything. I had the box broke down flat. And he's like, this is the doll. He went and Gigi was sitting beside him. And he's like, this is the box that my doll came in. And he called it his doll. And he's like, do you have the doll? And I'm like, yeah, I have it. I said, I just brought that. He goes, man, I wish you would have brought that doll. And I was like, dang.
You let down the cat man, dude.
And he's like, I wish you would have brought that doll.
No
And,
signature for you. Next.
and then I slid the tour book in front of him, and he went to go sign it. He was going like towards his face, and I'm like, if you will, I said, will you do me a favor? I said, don't sign the front. I said, I know this sounds weird, and I opened it up to the part where he's that big, huge picture of him behind his drum set, and I said, when I was a kid, I used to look at this picture of you behind these drums, and it made me want to be a drummer just seeing you sitting behind those drums and hearing. And he went, "That's really cool." And he goes, "Yeah, look." And he kind of put it over to Gigi. He goes, "Yeah, look at the kit I had back then. That was massive. Pearl sent me a massive kit. That kit was, I love that's my favorite kit that I ever played on." And I was just
Yeah,
like, "Dang,"
that's cool.
And then he signed it. He's like, "Sign it right here." I'm like, "Yeah." He signed it like right at the bass drum, and but and that literally all happened in like a minute's time. But it was just so cool, that interaction. It was like worth waiting in line for 3 hours for. It was really cool. I should have saved that for my Peter
It's all
solo,
right.
but it's
I
all
can
right.
cut it out if you want.
So track by track. So what I think is cool about this album is, they told the whole lies about, when they were working on Phantom, they're like, after we get done with Phantom, we're going to take a break from each other and we're going to make albums and stuff. And when you actually look at the stop start time with some of the other members of the band, they actually started before May. I think it was Peter or maybe Gene or somebody, maybe even Paul started like as early as May or no, as early as April. And then they filmed Phantom in May, right?
Right.
And they wrapped towards the end of May. And Ace recorded his in June and July. So Ace's solo album was actually recorded after Phantom. And every time I watch Phantom, I always think about that. I'm like, so and so was already working on their solo album, and Ace hadn't started working on his yet. I wonder what they had done before, and I wonder when Ace was writing songs, for his album. So, but yeah, it was recorded between June and July at the mansion in Sharon, Connecticut, the big Colgate mansion. And they had apparently had a good time there, even stayed there. They literally stayed at the mansion while they were recording. And then they finished the recording at Plaza Sound Studios in New York. I think Peter, there's a story I saw like where, no, that was something else. Never mind. I was getting stories crossed. But the track listing, like I said, all the songs are written by Ace except for Rip It Out. Speaking Back to My Baby, Jeanette Frehley helped write it. I think he just gave her a co-write. And then New York Groove was written by Russ Ballard. That's the cover. And then Wiped Out, Anton Fig put in some on it. And like I said, it was basically Ace Frehley, Anton Fig, Will Lee, Carl Tallarico, drums on Fractured Mirror, and David Leslie and Suzanne Collins. Backing vocals on Speeding Back to My Baby and What's on Your Mind and New York Groove, and a little sidestep, David Leslie and Susan Collins. They also did a lot of background singing on tour for Jackson Brown, who was another big, huge artist in the 70s. Larry Kelly did background vocals on Rip It Out. Bill Bear. Shineman played Bell on Fractured Mirror, and Bobby Adams did the talk box power mouth on New York Group. So just a very small personnel. So the opening track, Rip It Out, I think is one of the best, not only Ace songs, but if you want to slap this in as a Kiss album, because they're called the Kiss albums, if you want to slap it in as a Kiss song, I think it's one of the best Kiss songs. And it's just due to Anton and, it's just due to Anton and Ace. I mean, I think it may just essentially be Anton and Ace on that song. Because, like I said, Ace plays all the guitars, and him and Will Lee go back and forth on playing some bass on some different songs. So, but I think Rip It Out is one of the best Kiss songs, and to me, it's not my favorite song on the album, but it might be the best song on the album, even though it's not the most popular and the most highest charting song on the album. It, to me, is the best, but it's not my favorite. So, what about you, AJ?
Rip It Out, favorite opening track of the solo albums for me, I would say. Critical to the album, yes. Critical to history, well, his history. And what's the other part?
Is it critical to the album,
Catalog.
critical to history? And
Catalog, sure. I'll throw it in there. Sure. And
I was yes on all three too. I didn't say
yeah,
I was yes on all three.
yeah. It's a hell of an opener. It's a hell of a song. And I think he still plays it. Does he? Did I see something where someone else is singing it though?
What, Rip It Out?
Yeah.
He
I've seen
opened with it up until this last tour, and he
Okay.
started open with Shock Me. But he used to always open with Rip It Out.
Okay. I remember seeing the solo stuff from just like last year, and someone else was singing his songs. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like, he's right there. You sing your
Yeah.
but I
Sing
don't
your
know.
songs, Ace.
Yeah, right. So yeah, yes across the board.
I would agree. Yes, across the board. It is a song that you would introduce someone to Kiss with. It is a very important song to Ace, important song to Kisstory, great opening track. I'm with Brant though. However much it's a great song, I could probably go without hearing it the rest of my life. I'm cool. Like I think I just played it so much as a kid. Like
Yeah.
high school, just always played it, like because I mean it's got a great riff. And
Mhm.
but the more I got into the solo albums, I dug a lot more tracks more as I got older.
Okay.
First of all, 5 glasses of blue Kool-Aid from me. Agree with all of you. It is a great opener. Love the lyrical work on this. Yeah, and it's a great chorus. I mean, this song punches you in the dick. I always talk about getting punched in the dick hole on this show. This one rips your dick hole in half. I love this song.
I
I
gotta
will
pee.
admit, I said on the Gene episode that a lot of the solo album songs come up when I have just like it'll say like Tommy Walter's radio station or whatever on Apple. And I get a lot more of the solo album songs than actual Kiss songs. And depending on what state of mind I'm in, if Rip It Out comes on, I'll either listen to it or I'll change it or I'll think about changing it. And I'm like, nah, this is too good of a ditty to skip it. But I'll say, yeah, 3 yeses from me. Critical the album, yes, it's a stone cold fox of an opener. And History, yes, just because it's one that Ace fans still go to hear him play. And to the catalog, yes, for the same reason.
So next we have Speeding Back to My Baby. I've always liked Speeding Back to My Baby. And I like how it just punches. It's like how it just kind of hits you starting. And I love the rockabilly it has, the when he's singing. And I've always liked it. I mean, I'm not really keen on the female singers at the end, the speed
As AJ would
gospel
call them.
singers. I
Yeah.
mean, I know that all 4 of them did it, but I was like, Ace, you could have done without the background
Yeah.
singers. You could have done without them. But at least he didn't have like a big ensemble or choir or anything like that. He literally only had like 2 backup singers, a guy and a girl, a man and a woman. So, but speaking back to My Baby, it's one that I think it's critical to the album. I think it actually belongs on there. It shows a different side. It's kind of laid back, bouncing back and forward, shoot boxy, rockabilly type song. Maybe he's throwing back to something from his childhood. He's pulling some type of influence. I don't really know who his influences are, but he's pulling something from somewhere. And and I think it's kind of a little bit of a little autobiographical because he's talking about being on the road, traveling
Yeah.
down the road doing 95 miles per
Miles
hour.
an hour.
And then he throws in the
Wow.
yeah, and I love when Ace does stuff like that. He sings so Ace. So and Anton Fig plays good on it. It's got that kind of weird background solo on it. So, and that just shows a little bit more of the production value that Eddie and Ace brought into it. That's highlighted on a few tracks on this album where he tried and messed around with some different instruments and messed around with some different recording techniques. And they did all kinds of different things like putting his amp in a fireplace or putting it in a room with rugs on the wall or tapestries on the wall or putting it in a bathroom or they moved the drums around. Sometimes Anton would record in a smaller room. Sometimes he'd record on the second landing of the main staircase. So they were really playing around and using the mansion as a recording space. And so I think that kind of you see a little bit of that experimentation on this. But I think it's critical to the album. I don't think it's critical to the catalog. I don't think it's critical to history. It's a song that just kind of outside of the realm of the album, it just kind of gets lost.
Well, it's my favorite one in the album for sure.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love the song. I love the solo. I love how it just kind of comes in from like the back. Like, yeah, like that's awesome. I love that. As far as the album goes, yeah, critical for sure. Nah, I'd have to say no on the other two though, unfortunately, because it really. Did he ever play it live?
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
I know
I
Kiss
don't
didn't,
think
but
so.
I mean, I'd love to hear it live one day. But yeah, but my favorite song, One Yes, two notes.
I agree. I think it's critical to the album. It kind of shows you the humor side of Ace for the first time, I feel, because you kind of get his like goofy storytelling lyrics, which
Yeah,
he hadn't done really before. Shock Me was kind of goofy, but like more rock and roll. Rocket Ride was definitely rock and roll, but this
mhm.
is kind of like the very first fun Ace song. And like you said, that guitar solo is just so cool. And
Yeah,
is like the way it comes in is just like almost like a car passing you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's the coolest little effect. There's a
It's
lot
like,
of cool effects on this album,
yeah,
but
Mhm.
they literally stopped the song, and then it's like, here comes.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Yes to the album, no to the Took history in the catalog. Yeah, after Rip It Out, it goes right into that riff, which is killer. The rockabilly aspect, I think this would be probably his most Chuck Berry-esque riff.
Hmm.
And yeah, this album just it's almost like I wouldn't be surprised if he did like a cover of like Rocket 88 or something on this album. It just like kind of hard rocked it up a little bit. But this is a perfect driving album.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
not just because of the song, just every like the guitar and the drums just hit in the right way that like you're like speeding back to my baby. Fuck yeah, let's crank that up. Like this is too good. I'm rolling the windows down. I'm putting the top down. My hair's blowing back. You know, whatever. It's just yeah. This it screams Ace, and like you said, Rick, it's his kind of goofy way of showing his humor.
yep. Track three, Snowblind. I love Snowblind. I think I love the way, Speeding Back to My Baby fades out with the gospel singers and Ace doing the little, just kind of repeating the chorus. But then you get that two cracks on the snare, that pentatonic diminished scale where he's just going down, and it just sounds so good. The way Anton's drums sound, the way his guitar sounds, you listen to how he is simple when he needs to be simple. He's complex and overlays when he needs to. But Snowblind, once again, he's talking about and that's why I love some of the. Sometimes there are some thin spots lyrically on this album, but I like that the first three songs, he's just kind of. I think he started this song with, "Hey, y'all want to hear me write a kick-ass Kiss song? Here you go. Here's Rip It Out." And then Speed Back to My Baby. It's that fun kind of song. Hey, I've been on the road. Time to get back to my baby. I'll do anything I can. Drive 95 miles an hour. Then he starts talking about his issues. He's snowblind, and snowblind has one of my favorite Ace Frehley solos. I love whenever they go into that double time. I love that. He just rips that solo. He just sounds so good, and then it crescendos at the end, and then they go back into that dun 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 dun. And if you listen, that riff is different than it is at the beginning, and he just keeps laying in all of this overdub shit where he's playing all these different notes, and Anton's doing all these on these different toms and stuff. And here we are at the end of the song, and he's like changed. It's still the same, but it's changed from what it was at the beginning. I've heard a lot of people give a lot of hate to Snowblind, that it's not one of the better songs. I definitely think this album would definitely be hurting without Snowblind. Once again, though, I believe it's one of those songs that sadly is not very well known outside of it's not very well known to the catalog. It's not very well known in history, but I think it's very critical to the album. So I've got a yes, no for Snowblind.
I know I said it was a summer album, but Snowblind, I don't know if it's because of the blue and the word snow. I do feel like wintry for that one song.
Here comes the winter, right?
and and I love it too. I
Driving
love
around
that.
in a blizzard of Coke.
Yeah, right. Well, you're a kid, you just know snow. Okay, he's probably out skiing. When he was skiing,
I thought
his nose was
snowblind meant like the road was foggy and he couldn't see to get home because he says, "I'm snowblind. I can't see a thing."
no, his nose was doing the slopes. But I like it a lot too. I like that the double time solo, the heavier parts of it. It's a good song. I think it's for the album. Yeah, I think the album would definitely be weaker without it. But as far as the other two, I'd have to give it no, unfortunately. But It's another one that just kind of got lost in the shuffle, but it's on the album. I like it a lot, and that's my thoughts. 1 yes, 2 no's.
I love you, Aaron, so much. You make me laugh so much. Like you pulled a Rodney Dangerfield there. Oh, your nose is doing the slopes.
I can't get no respect even on the slopes. My wife told me to take out the trash. I said, "You cooked it, you take it out." All right.
My wife told me to take out the trash, so I grabbed her by her dress and took her out.
I'm loving the fact that you said this is a winter record because Ace is. I say this to my friends, and they're like, what's wrong with you? But Ace is totally a winter record for me too. It's a summer record too, but there's something about where his makeup's like almost green right there.
Mhm.
Gosh dang, so winter and
Like a winter sky.
and Snowblind is that for me. And I think it's a lot to do with one of my very first Kiss magazines when I was in high school had like this crazy ass picture, and it had to be during the Cream photo shoot, the Christmas one, with like the candles and the fake snow.
Yeah.
But it was Ace. The picture is just Ace laying on his stomach in fake snow from the back.
Yeah.
And, like listening to this record and seeing that picture when I was little, teenager, totally makes me think of Christmas. And please correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long day. It's been a long 2 days. But the coolest part of this song is the Ace.
I was going to mention that. Think I'm lost in space. And it doesn't repeat space.
That
It
is
repeats
the
Ace.
fucking coolest part of this record.
And that's where we get Space Ace.
Absolutely beautiful. And critical to the record, not critical to his history of, unfortunately, not critical to history, but just for that Ace moment. So beautiful. And Aaron, thank you so much. You just made my day.
I do what I can.
Well, I am a huge fan of any song that references going skiing or hitting the slopes, however you want to say it. And this one is just another, it's like 1, 2, 3, just punch, just full speed ahead. And it's almost like the moment where it's like you can almost hear like a Gene-ish kind of thing where he would be like, do, 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 do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this is one of those songs where we always say which Kiss record this could have been on. This could have easily been on Love Gun.
Yeah.
Take off Then She Kissed Me.
Right.
And put Snowblind on there. But then that takes away from the solo record. So I'm glad he saved it if it wasn't written already. But it's Ace, especially in 1978. So yeah, 1 yes, 2 no's.
All right. So next on the next track is Ozone. And Ozone is, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Ozone is my favorite song on the Ace Frehley album. It has been my favorite song for the longest time, just for so many reasons. It does have a weak spot, and I'll talk about that. But Ozone I love the whole suspension and the whole anticipation of the song actually getting going, because it just kind of starts off with that dun and does that for a while. And then it breaks into that dun dun dun, and then that bluesy banana. And we talk about how you can sing a good solo, you can sing it. He's sticking a solo on top of just like this bluesy thing. And Anton's back there, if you listen, he's back there just beating the hell out of the snare. You literally hear the snare, that hollow sound of the snare every time he hits it. And the bass, I think this is Will Lee that plays the bass. It may be Ace. It's either one of the two. But he's doing those Gene things.
I love those.
Doom. And it is just so awesome. He's got that solo under that blues. And then before he starts singing, he goes into that dun, 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 and then he one time he hits it 2 times at the beginning, another time he hits it 1 time at the beginning, and it throws the whole cadence off. And then he goes back into the and finally, almost 2 minutes into the song, he starts singing. And he says, this is his autobiography, I'm the kind of guy who likes getting hot. It's like, it is about as honest and autobiographical that you can be. And the only really weak part, I like it gets kind of repetitive at the end, because he's just kind of singing the weakest part on this song, even though it's my favorite, is the solo's just like he's just like doing these descending and ascending scales. And it's like, he wrote these songs in such a short amount of time. He apparently made a demo with Anton Fig, which I would love to hear those demos. But he basically wrote these songs, demoed them, and recorded them, mixed them, and had them ready to go in less than 2 months, in 2 months. So when you're working that fast, you're going to sacrifice somewhere. And I think that he put the time and care in on the albums where it really needed to be put in. And I'll let him skimp on the solo on this one because it's not bad. It's just, it is not a Speeding Back to My Baby solo and a solo that I love later on in the album that's my second favorite song on the album, simply almost because of the solo. But I love Ozone. It's my favorite song on the album. It's critical to the album, I believe, because it wouldn't be the same without it, because it's Ace talking more about his problems. Because now, went through the snow and now he's in the air. So we know he's high now. So it's just a 1-2 thing. And I think it's critical to the album. Not really so much to the catalog for him and not really so much to history. So unfortunately, it's just kind of lost on the album, but belongs on the album, in my opinion.
I'd say it's probably one of my least favorites, second to least favorites on the album, unfortunately. Sorry, Brant. It just kind of trudges along for me a little bit. It does get better the more drinks you have, and I bet if I smoked, it would be really good, but I don't. But yeah, it just kind of drags to me. So it's there's better songs in the album to me. So I'd give it no across the board. And I didn't really look too deep in like the lyrics or anything like that. But for me, it's all about how it makes me feel, and I feel like it's just kind of dragging an anchor a little bit for me. It's 3 no's for me, unfortunately.
I would say yes, critical to the record, no critical to Ace, and no critical to the catalog. But I do think it's very cool, and that's what I like about it so much is it oozes the coolness of Ace. Like everything that you said, Brant, about the opening riff to the bridge just has that coolness. And I like the fact that, yeah, he's talking about getting high. You said he made all the demos in 2 months. The beauty of cocaine. The
It's a hell of a drug.
The lyrics are all about getting high, right? But when you're an 8-year-old kid in 1978, you know him as the spaceman. So like those lyrics are like, he's flying in space. I love that. That's cool. And that was a great cop out, to probably Gene and Paul. Like, I wasn't talking about getting high. I was talking about being a spaceman, So, it's just, it oozes cool. And that's what I like about it. It is one of my, I think this album kind of peters out at the end. So it's one of my favorite go-tos on the record.
I love this song because we go from being on the ski slopes, as it were, to this one's just kind of that laid back. You're sitting in a beanbag chair with the blacklight posters, all those David Lee Roth spiels before Ice Cream Man, and you're rolling
newbies
hand-rolled cigarette on the cover of the album, and you're just sitting back with your friends, and you're just, no cares in the world, no responsibilities, and you're just having a good time. And it's just real relaxed, and then it almost feels like it's
right.
It's almost like you were in this euphoric state, and now you're just like, you want to go eat a bowl of cereal and turn on cartoons, turn on Transformers or something, with this playing in the background still. But like the sounds on, you're like, you think the Transformers are singing Ace Frehley solo album. But yeah, I say I critical to the album because it's a cool little come down from the sugar rush, the booger sugar rush that you were on. And now you're just kind of laying in the grass, if you will. I think it's fun. And I think this one, we went from winter to summer real quick.
There you go.
We skipped spring. I think being snowblind sprung us to summer.
We springboarded into the ozone.
There you go.
The 5th track, What's on Your Mind? I don't not like this song. There's not really a song on this album I don't like. There's just some that I prefer over others. This is one that I feel like it had potential, but this is just one of those that I feel like that it just due to the speed of him making the album and what the amount of time that he had to make the album. I'm sure he was working against deadlines. I don't know if he was one of the last people to finish his or not. I should have looked at timelines better. But I think the last person to finish theirs was Paul, actually. Might have been Peter, because Peter had an injury. But this is one of those I felt like there's not a bunch of extra work on it. It has a good start, that snare hit and that dan it, and then that acoustic guitar.
Bring.
But the lyrics are kind of probably the weakest lyrics up to this point. I like the where it gets into that little pre to where before it goes into the solo where he's like, "What's on your mind?" Gang, 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 gang. And then there's that "Tell me," and it goes into the solo, the solos, and then he breaks back into that. Maybe we can make it one more time. To me, this is my first kind of like, okay, I don't really feel like I think the album could have done without this song. And if I think the album could have done without this song, it's definitely not going to be critical to history or critical to the catalog. Although it ain't that I don't like it. It's just I feel like of the five first songs that we're listening to, it's the weakest on the five, in my opinion. But just whether I like it or not, I still do like it. I just think it's not a matter of not liking it or disliking it or whatever.
Right.
I just feel like it's the weakest.
And what were your ratings there?
No.
Oh, no.
That's from Crazy.
No. And we just jumped into the 80s.
Yep, kind of a mid song to me. Not bad. It's not groundbreaking. It's kind of bubblegummy a little bit. I'd probably have to give it no across the board too, but not to say it's not good or it's it sucks or it's not even really my least bottom. Might be my bottom three, but yeah, it's okay. Three no's again.
I would do 3 no's as well, but I do love this song. It's one of my favorites. Has been ever since I was a teenager. Love the that pre-bridge before the chorus that just has like that coming home vibe to it. Na, 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 na. I love that.
Yep.
And I remember when I was in high school, I had this in my CD player and I had it on repeat. And my friend Danny was at my house and it must have repeated 15 times. He goes, I just remember we were in my mom's kitchen and he goes, "Enough with what's on your mind."
What's on your mind is you should be shutting this song off.
I mean, but I was, that's how fascinated I was with this song. And I think it was all to do with that little bridgy, trail down of the guitar there.
I get it.
It's like, what's the deal with what's on your mind? It's actually my least favorite song on the album. I don't think there's an Ace song that I don't like, but if I had to pick a song that I would skip, it'd probably be this one. Yeah, it's just kind of there. And I know it's the last song on the side, and I know what's coming when I flip it, and I know that song is overplayed, but I still enjoy it. Yeah. No, across the board. It's not bad. It's just I know Ace is better than that. So that's it.
It's
But I don't-
definitely
I
one
mean,
that he feels. It's one that
Yeah, I
you feel like he put minimal effort into, and it was probably
Yeah.
just because of some kind of time restriction.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming is it had to get done and mastered so they could press it and shit.
I almost feel like this is the one song on the record that was written acoustically.
Yeah,
Yep, I
for
agree.
sure. Good point.
Because it has more of an acoustic feel than it does a rock guitar feel.
Mm-hmm.
Acoustic is very dominant in the song. Even when he's jamming the dun dun, you still hear the acoustic over that.
Yeah.
And I love that walk down too. You're talking about Rick. The other part I like, and I thought you were going to mention it, is I like that where he goes into that suspended, where he's like, maybe we could make it one more time. Dun-dun-dun. Shows you, I mean, that's structure in a song. That the structure is there. It's like he had the blueprints. I just don't think that he had the time to build it out the way he really probably wanted to build it out.
You
could have done. You listen to some of these other songs. Yeah, go ahead.
You just brought up an amazing point. And I don't mean this in any way towards Ace, like not being talented, but Ace is a very simplistic songwriter. And you mentioned guitarist, this album birthed every kid wanting to be a guitar player. That piece of that song you just mentioned gave kids a blueprint to how to write a song. Like, you're strumming to maybe we could make it one more time, and it's just
Yeah.
it's kind of beautiful that way. I just gave myself goosebumps.
It's the what I always say, Ace has the best pop sensibility. That's what that
Yep.
is.
Ace is a lot more commercial than people really. He can write a rock song that can still be a commercial song.
Mm-hmm.
That can be bubblegum.
That can be
Is it? And What's
bubblegum.
on Your Mind is a very unmasked era song.
Yeah, yeah, that
Right
could have
in.
been on. Yeah, it could have been on. It could have been on the Unmasked album. It could have been right there with Torpedo Girl. I mean, it really could have. It could have even been on Dynasty. It could have been right there with
Oh
Talk
yeah.
to Me. What's on your mind? Talk to me. I mean, he's got
Mhm.
Talk to Me and he's got What's on Your Mind. So I mean, apparently he likes to know what's on his women's minds.
Tommy, are you a Seinfeld boy?
Am I?
I'm
Yes.
like,
Okay, so you got my Ann Landers sucks.
Yes.
Okay, good.
But deep, but deep.
Because I wrote that in there, and I was like, everyone's probably like, "What's he talking about?"
No, dude. My wife never watched Seinfeld until we got married, and now she's obsessed with it. And
you.
my youngest, little Tommy, he is also obsessed with Seinfeld. He
That's
watches
awesome.
it with me at night, and he also watches it at bedtime in his room. And it's one of my proudest achievements as a father, is that he gets the humor.
One of my favorite lines off of that. It shrinks like a frightened turtle.
Yeah.
I don't see how you guys walk around with those
What's in
things.
the pool?
It was cold.
The sea was very angry that day, my friends.
Classic.
Yeah, every episode has a quote in it that's just like
Yeah.
it. And Jerry Stiller was the best addition to that show
What
because
the hell does that mean?
you saying you want a piece of me? All right, I'm done because I could do a Seinfeld podcast.
We'll do
All right.
a
All
Seinfeld
right.
episode next.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I don't think Rick ever saw this.
There you go.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
my Seinfeld merch in my studio here, aka my walk-in closet.
All right. So Flip the Vinyl, New York Groove, the hit. I've always been very vocal about this. Is probably my tied for my least favorite song on the album. And it's just because I never really got it. And it's just kind of, but now uncover your ears because I'm going to redeem myself.
Can you ear muff it for
It's
me?
one of those songs that's like when I listen to it, I'm like, when I listen to this song, I don't hear Ace. I hear Ace singing somebody else's song. And even though I know he did it, I've heard the Hello version and it's entirely different. He did make it his own. It's very simple. And of course, which is why it was the hit. And it made it's and it's huge even to this day. It's like whenever you hear I was watching The Blacklist. I was a huge fan of The Blacklist when it was on. And there was an episode where there was a car chase at the very beginning of it, and they were playing New York Groove. I was watching a show the other day that came on, and when it came on, they were playing New York Groove. So
There's an episode
this
of
song gets used
Entourage
a
where
lot.
they close the episode in New York Groove.
Yeah. So this song gets used, it gets bought out a lot by television shows and production shows. And for that, I appreciate it. And when I hear it, I go crazy like it's the best Kiss song. Because I'm always like, we'll be watching something, I'll be like, it'll start that, dun, 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 and I'll look at my wife and be like, oh, that's New York Groove. And she's like, what's New York Groove? I'm like, it's off Ace's solo album. It's like his biggest hit off the solo album, you know. But then I'll sit and go, well, I mean, I don't really like this song. But I mean, I do like it. It's just my beef with it is that it's the only song on the album that I think does not really sound like Ace. It sounds different than any other song on the album. And it's just because it's not really an Ace song, it's a cover. And he basically popped it, like we said, he popped it totally out. It's a total pop song, total simplistic song that everybody can listen to. And it's just catchy and just groovy enough, just simple enough. It doesn't even have a solo. I mean, it's just very, very simple and it never really changes that beat. It's just basically clunk, clunk, all the way through it. And I guess me being a drummer, it would be the most boring song to play in the world. So, but yeah, but do I feel like it is critical to the album? Hell yes. Critical to his career? Hell yes. Critical to history? Hell yes. All three. Probably the most critical of any song on this album. So, but it's kind of down my list as far as, but I cannot deny what it is.
Right.
And even though I have mixed feelings for it, I can't deny what it is. So it's yes for me.
Well, you guys better cover yours again. It's also it's definitely my least favorite song on the album. Always has been from the porno and enter beginning. I never liked it. I'm like, what is this? It's like, what is this groovy? I know it's called groove, but I'm like, what is this porno music that Ace is playing? And I didn't know at the time it was a cover, you know. So I never liked it. I was never.
What's the deal with Tommy's thrusting?
What's the
I'm the
deal?
master of my own domain.
I always skipped it, and it was. It's but in time I realized it's kind of like Ace. It's a little quirky, you know. It's definitely he made it his own thing, but I still don't like it. But as you said, critical all across the board because it's the hit. It's still out there. It's still relevant, and it's in the history too. I mean, they actually played the damn thing live for a bit, you know, back in the day. So, yeah, 3 yeses, but a no at the.
He still plays it live. When I saw him,
Did he really? Did he play
him
live
in April? He played it
with the cool light up silver guitar. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
with the flashing guitar and everything.
Yeah.
So that's my thing.
Fuck you guys.
I was going to say, Rick, don't let this be your last episode.
No, all respect. I totally get it. But I think I just buy into the cheese so much. That's why I love it. It's so roller rink. It's
absolutely
disco, you know, and it's the one song. If any woman at your work is making fun of Kiss, just be like, yeah, well, what about this song? And they'd be like, they could not deny how cool the song is. And like you said, Aaron, I just picture, you know, Largo 79, Peter hitting that bass drum, and all you see is Ace's guitar just flashing in the dark. Fuck! That's so fucking cool. And I mean, my all-time favorite track on the record, greatest side 2 opener maybe ever. And I like that remix that's out. It's on streaming. I forgot who does it. There's a New York Groove remix, and it's all Ace, but it's just so kind of rave remix. But gosh dang, it's so freaking cool. Love it. 3s all the way across the board.
Yeah.
3s, yeses all the way across.
We got you. Long day, long week, long year.
He's chugging the blue Kool-Aid.
Here,
I chugged it. That.
Yeah.
When the Yankees did their run in the 90s, and even now when they make the playoffs, this song is blasted, whether it be in the stadium or whether it be on TV. And it makes me just, I mean, you talk about goosebumps. I mean, my whole body is covered. My legs will be shaking, you know, because it's always like the 7th inning or something, and they're either mounting a comeback or they have the lead. And all I can think, like you said, Rick, Largo 79 and Paul and Ace are still having fun enough to go back and forth. And then he does a little solo live. Like, but that light up guitar is so fucking cool. And this song to me just proves how cool Ace is. That's it. Yes, across the board. Fuck yes, across the board.
All right. Not many tracks left, 3 tracks left because he only did 4 tracks because the last track being a little bit longer. I also think he probably could have put a 10th track. I just think he was short on material. But number 7, I'm in Need of Love. I love this song. It's probably my second favorite song on the album. I like how it starts off with that outer spacey sound, and once again you have that smack on the snare from Anton, and that riff he does. It just sounds so outer space. And Anton he's a beast on this song too. He's just beating the hell out of the drums, and you can just hear it so much. It's weak. Because all he's saying is, I want some love, so give me some. I need some love, so give me some. You know, it's basically kind of simple. I'm in need of love. I'm in need of love, and I hope that you're in need of me. It's very simple. The freaking solo. I used to use this solo as an intro on a lot of, if you go back and watch some of my early videos, after I do the introduction of what I'm doing and getting ready to go to the little break before I actually start talking about what I'm going to be doing, you'll hear the you know, you hear that start, and he goes into that you know. But even with that, yeah, I love it. I do too. It's like a very spacey song for him to not
Mhm.
actually be talking about outer space. And I love when Ace talks about outer space. I like on his later solo albums, I freaking love the outer space. I came from outer space song. I love that. But this is probably my second favorite, right there, first, second favorite song on the album, even with all of its little blemishes and its weaknesses. And it's very, not very thick when it comes to the lyrical content and stuff like that. Critical to the album, to me, yes. Maybe not to everybody, but to me, yes. I think it is. I think the album would be different without it. And critical to history or critical to the catalog, no. So it'd be a yes, no for me.
Solid ass song for me. It for some reason it reminds me of something you hear really loud at a carnival ride or something. Like the beginning like that,
Yeah.
the spacey stuff. But yeah, it's good. I like it. To the album, sure. The rest of the stuff, probably no. But it is, yeah, that little upbeat. That is a hell of a solo too. For that,
That solo is probably one of the best. I think it's one of the best solos on the album.
probably one of his top five of all time, maybe.
Yeah.
Going out there that on a limb like that, but definitely like it. Definitely give it a critical yes and two no's.
You guys hit the nail on the head with the effects of the guitar. Very
Yeah.
space.
Mhm.
And I just think, a kid just staring at this album cover, kind of just fantasizing about this guy's really like a Star Wars character,
Mhm.
And it's what you guys hit every nail on the head. Critical to the record, no's on the other two for me, but a great track on side two.
Yeah. I mean, from the very beginning, he talked about how he came from another planet, came from Jindal, and you, the blue, you associate, to me, I associate blue with space. You can
Yeah.
associate it with cold. I associate it with space. He's got freaking lightning bolts on his face. I mean, for goodness sake,
Yeah.
sparks or whatever you want to call them.
I was
So,
even
I mean,
thinking, I
yeah,
was even thinking like the way he has his mouth open, like the red inside his mouth is kind of like glowing. So it's almost
yeah.
like, I don't know, it's very,
Oh,
very,
The detail on that too, like you see the very tops of his bottom teeth, and you see like where he didn't the black makeup don't fully cover his bottom lip on that one side. I mean, just
same
that
thing.
little attention to
well,
detail.
and
Crazy.
that's what I love about, not to derail, but that's what I love about this cover and him on the Dynasty poster. He just has that I don't give a fuck look on his face.
Yeah, like
And
Yeah.
it's so rock star. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fucking, it's just like,
Right.
Take the fucking picture so I can go get
he's
up.
like, I'm fucking
Yeah.
Ace Frehley.
My favorite part of Ace's makeup has always been the top lip, how that comes to those 2 points. I've
Yeah.
always loved that. It was always like my favorite makeup to do, either on myself or somebody else, because me and my friends always wore Kiss makeup. We would wear Kiss makeup to the fair, actually, and we would get called certain slurs that people shouldn't say for wearing Kiss makeup to the fair.
Well, that's
And
because you were kissing Ace's album when no one was looking.
yeah, well, you can rhyme it with album, kinda. I guess I was.
That's because your buddy was dressed as Gene and he was walking around licking your neck all the time.
Eh,
Not there's anything wrong with that.
not that there's
Not that
anything wrong
there's
with it.
anything wrong
But
with that.
no, and I said that to go back to AJ's point about the carnival ride blasting. I see this song blasting as you get into that spaceship that you stick to the
The
wall. And it,
Gravitron. That's exactly
yeah,
that. Yep.
it makes you feel like your fucking lungs are collapsing.
Yeah.
Like it's so wild.
I
And
don't want to make
remember-
that reference because I figured I'd be the old man making an old man reference.
No,
but
dude.
That's exactly.
Yeah. And I remember, like, because we would walk around, we'd smoke cigarettes and all this, and like, I'm like, oh my god, I shouldn't have smoked that cigarette before that. It's like it felt like literally like my whole, like, both of my lungs were just gonna collapse. Man, yeah, but it's the effect on the guitar that just makes me love this. Yeah, it's simple. It's Ace in simple form, but yeah, it's fun. It's definitely an Ace song. So I'm gonna say yes, no.
this is a Dynasty song to me.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Great.
it could have
Yep.
went on Dynasty for sure. All right, now track number 8, next to last track, "Wiped Out," written by Ace Frehley and Anton Fig. And I remember "Wiped Out" when I was a kid. My favorite song to play on the album was "Wiped Out," just because it had that drum, the wiped out drumming at the beginning, and then when it got into that rhythm that he's doing during that feels like so unmasked. It's like if we was
Yeah,
to take this a song off an album like we've been doing, you could plop that on Unmasked. But then it breaks into that, which is like so old school Kiss. Like that's a riff from like Hotter Than Hell could have
yeah.
been on that. But I love Wiped Out. It's probably mid for me. It's kind of in the middle there. It's not up at the very top. It's not down at the very bottom. It's mid, but I just think it's great. And critical to the album, I think so. It's one that I've heard a lot of people talk about. It's got a little more for it to be a B side or a deep cut, a deep track. It's it gets a little bit of notice in the Kiss community, just I think because of the drumming and the wiped out and stuff like that. It being very different from the other songs in that way. And once again, it's about drugs. I was wiped out. I had my lights out. So I would think maybe that it's like critical to, y'all might not agree with me, but I think it's maybe critical to the album and maybe barely critical to the catalog, but not really critical to history. So I'm probably going to be the odd man out on that. But so I'd say yes, no.
It's probably my second favorite song on the album, just for that heavy part alone. For the chorus, I mean, the verses are a little cutesy, having fun.
Went to a party. Yeah.
He
We were
totally redeemed himself
having
with that.
fun.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's badass. That's heavier than shit.
But
So,
then he pulls out, which flies out in space.
oh, it's
Of
so
course,
like
he
it's kind of
has
like,
to pull
but
space out.
then it comes up like twice as
Yeah.
loud and heavy, and I like it a lot. So, on the album, I'd give it a yes, but probably no on the other two, honestly, to me. But I do like it. It's my second favorite on the album. Heavier than shit. Just crank that fucker up.
It is versatile. I totally agree, though. The heavy part, it's so cool. I hate to sit through the goofy part,
Yeah.
but it's like, come on. It's like, did you mesh two ideas together and just try to make a song real quick?
Well, the gene.
Yeah, this is the most
Yeah,
G.
because it does that abrupt stop. I was banana. That it's like it goes into a entirely different song.
Yeah, and just I've always skipped it. I don't know why. Just I think it's because the goofiness to get to the heavy stuff is there, and
Yeah.
it's another unmasked track to me. But I would say no, no, no.
I'm gonna say yes, no, just because it is so goofy that it's a fun like party song. Like if you're having a party and it's like people are starting to get a little, too messed up and you're trying to, bring them back up, when people start nodding off on a couch or something, and you put this on, get people back into the party. And that seems like something that Ace would do. So for that alone, yeah, it's silly, but it does have the heavy moments. So you got to kind of weigh, pick your battles. And yeah, but I mean, I'm not super fond of the song, and I've also been known to skip it, but it's critical enough to where I think it could keep a party going. And for Ace, I'll say yes, critical of the album for that.
I love that line where he says, "Next thing I know, I looked at you. I was blind as a skunk." I think he's kind of poking fun at his addictions in a way,
Yeah.
in a way that because I mean, next thing you know, he's in space. The moon was turning, we were burning, things became a haze. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's actually got a lot of where a lot of some of the other songs have like really the lyrics get kind of thin. This song is actually, if you look at the lyrics, it's very wordy because he's telling a story.
Yeah, it kind of
So
reminds me of
it's
like in the same vein of like Rock Soldiers a little bit.
yeah, he's basically telling a story through the whole thing, and it's really wordy.
Mhm.
Okay, so that brings us to the last song, Fractured Mirror. And I still love you guys, even though, and y'all actually, when it comes to y'all not liking a song that I really love, your song won out because, I mean, you got the song that this album is known for, other than Rip It Out, and I think New York Groove's bigger than Rip It Out because, like you said, it gets played at anything that has to do with New York or any
Right.
television show or Yankees or anything like that. Anything that has to do with New York, it's like this is one of their theme songs. Like New York Groove's one of their theme songs, and rightly so. I'm happy about it. The last song, Fractured Mirror. I'm not the biggest fan of instrumentals, but I love Fractured Mirror for what it is, and that Ace had the balls to put an instrumental song on his album. No other member did that. It was the first time an instrumental had been on a Kiss album since the first album. So yeah, so he did Fractured Mirror and it became like a franchise. It became
Yeah.
something that he was known for and that fans looked forward to, and he kind of repeated on albums as he went along and all the way up to the last album. It was there was Fractured, a version of Fractured on it as well. But having said that, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of a Fractured Mirror. It's kind of probably mid to low mid for me, but I don't skip it because I love it. And it's one of those songs that starts off so simple and just builds into this big. He just keeps adding layers, and then and it's all Ace except for him and that drummer, whatever his name was, Car Talarico. But Ace is doing everything else: guitar, synthesizer, bass, rhythm, acoustic guitar, and doing that effect where he had that double neck guitar, and he turned he turned the volume down on the one, and he turned the volume up on the other, and he played on the one that he turned the volume down on the pickup, and picked and did that reverberating bell sound through the body of the guitar. Like I
Hmm.
said, that's one of the things I love that him and Eddie experimented so much. And this is one of those songs I think he took. If you realize that this is only two people, you realize how many times he had to go in and record and just keep layering it. He's probably spent a ton of time on this song, but I think it's one that he knew what he was wanting to do. It was part of the songs that continued to, launch guitarists and give them something to kind of look forward to or to aspire to. So for that, I'd say it's a yes to me. It's definitely a yes for this album, whether I like it or whether I care for it or not. It's a yes for the catalog, and it's definitely a yes for history because it's one of his biggest known songs that he has continued to do throughout his career, his solo career. So yes, yes, yes for me. That's my opinion.
I too have a instrumentals. There's some really good ones out there. There's some really kind of lame ones out there. Sometimes I wish I had an actual song that I could sing along to, but I remember at some point in my life it was like a summer or spring day where all the windows and shit were open and someone was playing this and it just kind of went through the whole house and it's just kind of stuck with me. And that's what I feel when I hear that song. Is it one of the greatest instrumentals I've ever heard? No, but it's really good, and it's kind of a cool way to end an album because it just kind of kind of almost like a little bow, like thank you, you know. But like you were saying, yeah, and then he turned it into a thing, fractured two, fractured my fractured ass, whatever the hell. And as far as
Part
the album
six.
goes, yes. As far as history goes, yeah, I'd probably say yeah across the board too. Yeah, well, all the way the catalog, the history, the album. Sure, I'd give it three S's and a thumbs up. Heck, and end of the album. Good way to end the
Frehley?
album, I think. Though.
Very good way to end the album. Phenomenal instrumental, and just shows the talent of Ace and also the recording talents of Ace, because we
Yeah,
forget that after this, he built that studio, Ace in the Hole, and kind of became a studio junkie too. If he would have laid off the drugs a bit, we probably could have seen a lot of cooler stuff come from that. But I love it being used in Attack of the Phantoms. Absolutely
yeah.
love it being used in that. And it's a great way to end the record. I would say yes on all three. However, I do not like when artists do one, two, and threes. Like when
Oh,
Metallica did Unforgiven 2 and Unforgiven 3. Like, but then again, I'm not a big solo person outside of Kiss. I love the solo records. I've never purchased any of Ace's solo stuff or Paul's. So,
oh,
but I'm mainly just Kiss, so I do love Fractured Mirror.
Yeah, three S's for me. Instrumentals, yeah, like you guys said, there's good ones, there's bad ones, there's Ace. And him being the lead guitarist of Kiss, why wouldn't he end his album with an instrumental? So, I mean, it makes sense. It's cool. I mean, I would have preferred another actual song, but
yeah.
for Ace, yeah, it's cool.
I
So
just
three
don't think
S's.
he had it in him. I don't think he had another song to give.
I
I
mean,
mean,
shit, he only
Maybe.
had what two songs before that, and now all of a
Yeah.
sudden he got to have a whole album. So it's like that was pretty good.
Well, and they knew, there's gonna be
I mean,
another Kiss
he
album.
wrote some songs before that, but
I mean, as far as
you know,
recording, though.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Here's a song, sing it. I don't want to, Coily. You know?
Yeah. I think that's one of those that he probably just had that little thing, because that's just that little simple,
Yeah,
ditty. The whole, he just kind of, and it kind of does that bell curve. It kind of starts off just nothing and
yeah,
kind of just keeps building into that. And this is kind of like a night song to me. It's kind of,
yeah.
I get a little bit of a night winter feel out of it. It's not a summer song to me. It's not a day song to me. This would be a cool song listening to riding down the road at night with the window down, and there's a little
I've
bit of
done
that
that.
autumn chill in the air.
I've done it.
And,
It works.
definitely a night song for
Yeah.
me.
You can
Um,
almost picture him getting in his spaceship and just flying away.
Like Grease.
Yeah, right.
And Ace turns around and waves
Yeah.
with the space bear.
Did I miss the cat when I was talking? Did I just see a cat?
Yeah.
Bring the cat back.
yeah, she's right here.
Is that the one that was Sickers earlier?
Yeah, this is the one that almost died. She's a fat girl. She's a
Uh,
big girl.
I can
He's a
relate.
biggin.
All right, so most critical song, least critical song. Me, I say most critical is going to be New York Groove, just because it, like I said, it is still relevant to this day.
Right.
And it is still well liked during this day. And least critical is probably something like probably the type of songs like I got to pick a song.
I know what you're gonna say.
Probably least critical to me is probably to me, Rick, not to me. The least critical is probably What's on Your Mind. Even though I like it,
Yeah.
I think that's the least critical. I don't dislike any song on this album.
Right. I mean, I'm with you too. I'm kicking and screaming for New York Groove as most, but you can't
It is
deny.
what it is. It is
Yeah.
truly the
mean-
song that,
Yeah.
Gene and Paul, they got up and sang Radioactive and Peter got up and sang Toss and Turning, and what did Paul sing on the Dynasty tour? Move On.
Yeah.
And,
Move
and
on.
Oh gosh,
I'm sitting
it's a
here going,
horrible
okay,
choice.
that's a horrible choice. But you know that when Ace walked out with that flashing guitar
Yeah.
and the crowd went crazy because it was already a hit, you know that Paul just threw up in the back of his mouth a little bit.
I was thinking the same thing about Fractured Mirror. That had to piss him off because he
Yeah.
fancied himself such a lead guitarist at the time, all guitars by Paul Stanley.
Yeah.
But I'd go most New York, and I'd go less. What's on your mind? Even though, like you said, I like it. It's just as far as the album goes, in my opinion.
Fuck you guys.
I know the least song that Rick's going to go. I know which one you're going to go to.
I'm totally joking, but mine would be New York Groove, the most critical, and Wiped Out, the least.
Do you see? I mouthed at the same time you did. I'm like, and Wiped Out. That's how much I knew.
And for me, I'm going to go the obvious choice, New York Groove, and least Wiped Out.
No, I didn't know.
2 and 2.
Okay.
What's on
This
Your
is
Mind,
gonna-
though, was second for me.
This is going to be the tough one. The better side one or side two?
That's a no-brainer for me,
It's a no-brainer for me as well.
I believe.
Side one for me is the only kind of one that slips a little, but it's still very good, Rick, is What's on Your Mind.
Yeah.
But Rip It Out, Speeding Back to My Baby, Snowblind, Ozone, What's on Your Mind. I mean, that's a solid closer for a side A. It'd be a solid close. It would have been a solid closer at the end of the album if he'd have put a "What's on Your Mind" type song. Well, he has to close with Fractured Mirror. I mean, that you have to close the album with that. But he could have put a "What's on Your Mind" style song in between Wiped Out and Fractured Mirror, or maybe even earlier. I don't know. But side one for me, side one is just too stacked. Even though side two has New York Groove, side one to me is just too stacked.
Yeah. One for me too. Yeah, they're all good. What's on your mind? Yeah, a little weak, but still good. So,
I just saw
one.
Rick do a Paul Stanley throw up in the back of his mouth.
Side one, definitely the better side. However, Rip It Out is an incredible opener, but imagine if New York Groove was the first song and then Rip It Out was the first song on side two. That's a side one.
That would be an awesome switch. It really would.
But
It
you
really
do
would.
need Rip It Out as an opener.
Yes. Agreed.
I think Rip It Out cements this album as this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a substance induced journey. But first, I'm going to kick your teeth in with my first song.
It's unanimous. Side one. Brent, you nailed it with the drug-induced journey line. Give me at the end of the day, give me side one and give me the single for New York Groove if I have to.
Yeah. I mean, even at the end of the album, he's talking about being wiped out. I
Yeah.
mean, I was blind as a skunk. I mean, he's talking about being wiped out, going to a party, ending up in space, things becoming a haze. So, I mean, even all the way through the album, he's talking about how much he likes to party. So, as far as merch goes, the only thing I really have, album related is I have the Ace album that we kind of were showing off. I showed the merch for him earlier. Rick showed the poster. I've got a pretty decent copy of the album. This is the only copy I own. Probably the only thing I'd like to get other than, well, it's in the copy. I own the blue vinyl copy, and I do want to show that because I think it's the one that has swirl. Where I talked about how Jeans didn't have any swirl in it, but Ace, I think Aces is solid too. A couple of them have swirls. I think Paul's and maybe Peter's have a swirl to them. Let's see. And I'm very disappointed that I put them back in the order that they were put in, and I'm very disappointed that they were not put in the box in the proper catalog release. They were Gene, Paul, Ace, Peter.
Those sons of bitches.
Yeah. So yeah, the blue is solid.
Ooh.
Pretty blue.
It's like the color of those blue dum-dums.
They did put it in that box set though with the best album first.
Yeah, so it's Peter's and Paul's that have the swirl that we will get to.
I believe Mary was also involved.
That's right.
Let's see,
When I was a kid, I'm like, that's exactly
See what I did there?
That's exactly what I was
Peter, Paul,
I
and
thought
Mary.
when I was a kid. I'm like, Peter and Paul, like Peter and Paul from Kiss and Mary. I'm like, what is this? Like when they
I'm actually going to put them back in.
Is that
here
one of their
in the
wives?
order.
Who is that? Who's Mary?
who are these two guys?
Put them back in the order they're released. So I'm putting Paul at the back.
I said hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye.
Then Peter, then Ace, then Gene.
Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you.
Well, the only one I got is what is this? The reissue?
Yeah, the 2014.
It came the poster.
Is it open?
It came with the poster. It was funny because I didn't even have a record player yet when I bought it, and I'm like, I never had I had Peter and Paul's, and when I was a kid, and Peter's I threw away. I'm like, I want to get the solo because the artwork's so cool. And this came in, and it had the poster, and it had the reprint of that. I'm like, oh fuck yeah! Well, I'm gonna get them all now. Well, then I ordered the Gene one, and it was the picture disc. Like, I didn't see picture disc on there. Then I ordered the Gene or the Paul and the Gene, and they were both picture discs. I'm like, well, shit, I wanted this version with the poster and everything. So I got the coolest, my most favorites, has the most complete reissue, but the other ones are picture discs. But still fun. Then like a year later, I got a record player.
Crazy the picture disc didn't come with posters.
Couldn't with nothing.
Got the 8-track.
Yeah, I like that.
Nice.
Track listen to the 8-track, program 1, Rip It Out, then New York Groove, then What's on Your Mind, part 1, What's on Your Mind, part 2, which is the last track on the first side. That's weird. Then Speed Back to My Baby, then Snowblind. Then program 3 is Ozone, I'm in Need of Love. Then program 4, Wiped Out, and then Fractured Mirror. So that's very interesting that they do Rip It Out and New York Groove first on the.
That's out of whack. I kind of like it though.
I do too.
Well, see, did you guys ever hear the thing? I think Ace wanted originally to work with Johnny Holmes and call it Whip It Out. It didn't work out, so he just went with Rip It Out.
Try the veal.
Rip It Out versus Rip It Out. And then we forgot that they also, what was it, a Ferrari? Was it Ace's Ferrari that they recorded during Speed Back to My Baby, zooming around?
Was it really?
It was some car. I can't remember what it is. Somebody interact down in the comments about what car it was.
Maybe that can be the trivia. What car was it?
Yeah. What car was it and who? Yeah, just what car was it? We don't need to who owned it. I don't know if it was Ace's or if they borrowed one or rented one, but it was a type of car. So, yeah, put it down in the comments and I'll
Google
look
it or schmoogle it.
Yeah, we'll figure Schmoogly Bear. We'll figure it out.
You have a whole new, deeper appreciation for stuff when you find out all the stories like that too. Me, I'm like, it's a good album. I like it, but then you throw all the facts at you, like, man, that was a lot of work they did for those nice songs.
I just think they probably spent a day somewhere or spent a considerable amount of time out somewhere with a microphone set up with a car flying past it and picking up the sound of it going by, because it's not like a Destroyer where they recorded the sounds from inside the car.
Yeah,
It was where they recorded the song. They recorded the outside the car.
Right.
All right,
So-
Rick, what do you got? Show us your mountain.
Well,
Show us your peak.
the version with the misprint is a promo copy, so that's kind of
Nice.
Nice.
I saw that promo label.
promo.
What is the misprint on it? What is the misprint?
The writing on the back is
Lyrics.
purple, right?
Yeah, the lyrics
Yeah.
on the back are purple
Shit.
instead of
Mhm.
blue.
That was an early run on before they caught it. No telling how many of those they got out before they caught it.
It can jump
It's not it's not like, I won't say it's super rare, but it's not like abundant.
And
So all the promos though have to be purple, right?
you would, man, I don't know, maybe, but like I had this in my when I first heard that, I ran downstairs and like went through all my aces. I only have like 3, and one of them was a misprint that I didn't
wow.
even know. Like I've never
That's awesome.
noticed that before. So it's not like I, found
That's
it.
awesome to discover a
Yeah.
variant, and it was there all along.
Yeah, crazy. My we mentioned FL Dog earlier. He sent me this. This is like a pie record solo ad from UK. And the crazy thing about this is they use
Yeah.
these on the front, which are the notebook pictures. So that was kind of cool. Even though this isn't a solo album thing, it's the notebook, songbook,
Nice.
and
Any pictures
actually the
inside?
songbook on the
The
back.
songbook's purple.
Uh-oh.
There you go. Little variant there. And it's got a cool ass picture of Ace.
I love
yeah.
picture.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Little discography written by Peggy Tamarkin.
I love those pictures.
I love the picture in the plexiglass chair, man. It's like,
Yeah.
is that thing still exist?
Where is
that jumpsuit is so cool.
Yeah. Could I not have that plexiglass chair? I would.
With your
I
big
would.
ass nuts.
sitting on your balls?
I would.
Sticks
I'd
to
have
the
wipe it.
glass and leaves an impression.
I'd have to wipe it down every
Then
time.
Nuts
like
stuck
a little,
to the chair.
Look like a little heart-shaped impression.
Nice.
New York Groove.
Oh, man.
The Pie 45,
Those are cool.
New York Groove, and Snowblind on the back. And then saying don't miss the 4 solo albums. Here is the actual 45.
I love it.
Nice.
I love
That's
it.
beautiful. That's really close to the color of that album that I have. I love that on the main side that it's the actual big face,
And then
and then on the other side it's different.
the coolest thing is they all come with the Halloween mask.
So
Yes.
awesome.
Put it
And-
on.
This took the longest to get in, of course. But
Ace.
my buddy Alan from London sent the Ace solo poster and then the group shot solo poster. But thank you very much, my friend.
He beat me too. He beat me to sending you that because I had my eye on one on eBay, and I was going to buy it for you. And I said, dude, I remember I texted you and said, I'm going to send you something. You seen the Ace poster on Facebook or on eBay, and you were like, yeah, I've already got one on the way or something like. I think I've got someone sending one to me, and I was like, dang it, because I was getting ready to buy that thing and send it to you
Shit.
because I knew it was one of the last things that you had to complete.
I mean, and that's just like a diamond in the rough. Like I was watching one in Australia and it was like $101, but then like the shipping from
shipping.
Australia was $75.
Yeah, they really
I
get
saw
you.
that. I saw that.
Can't do that. But 23 years I waited for this mother grabber to show up. 23 years.
That's awesome.
Freaking to complete the solo buckle collection.
No,
Right.
Nice.
That's the longest I've ever waited for a piece of merch to complete a collection.
the hell of victory.
And then the Halloween mask, Ace came in last, of course. He was the last to show up, but that I was able to knock that one out pretty quick. But those buckles, man, those
Mhm.
buckles are hard.
Good stuff, man.
And of course, when I was trying to do the buckles, is right when Knights Insane Service decides to do a week long of buckles and all the eBay prices go.
Yep. I think sometimes you might not have the following he does, but I think sometimes when you show certain things, I've noticed it's like, oh, that price has gone up slightly now. Thanks,
Yeah.
Rick.
Like I'm
But you
always
keep
watching
showing-
for the I'm always watching for the superheroes poster, and we talked about it, and you're like, yeah, they're always popping up on eBay, and I was like, yeah, and I look at them, but I'm just like, is it worth it in this condition? Do I really want to part with $150 or $200? So yeah. But then you showed it on your channel, and I was like, son of a bitch, it's gonna go up even more now.
Well, sometimes, and I'm sure everyone feels like this, sometimes like you're into getting something and you almost don't want to say it because you don't want somebody else to be like, that sounds fun too. I'm gonna look
Yeah.
for that as well. And you're like,
Yep, all the time. All right, well, I think that's about it.
who's next? Is it
It's Peter.
I'm
Better.
Peter
just
is
gonna say no across
next,
the
and Paul will
board.
be last.
Are you
What?
gonna peter out on that one, AJ?
No.
I'm just gonna hold a piece of paper that says no. I deliberately destroyed my copy when I was a kid because I was so pissed at it.
So
Get your-
we
You're
get
supposed
green
to grow
Kool-Aid
as an
for
adult,
Peter,
AJ.
right?
What?
We got to get green Kool-Aid for Peter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Green Kool-Aid.
And you guys, for Paul, you guys need to go out and get those New Belgium grape fizz ales.
If I can find one, that's my plan. There's a craft beer store here in Morganton, the town near me. And if they don't have it and you can't find it in this area, they will order it for you.
Yeah. I'll stick to my grape Kool-Aid because I don't drink anymore.
And if I can, I'll just get a grape crush.
There you go. Yeah.
I love
I'm
grape. I
gonna
love
try
it
that.
too.
I'm gonna try that
Yeah.
for sure.
Grape soda is so good.
Good stuff.
Takes you back. All right,
Mhm.
let's wrap it up.
All
All right, again, trivia. What car was it? And speeding back to my baby.
Yep.
And of course, follow the show at Critical Kiss One on Instagram. Merch store, T Public in the description. Comment down below. Answer the trivia question. Tell us your most critical, least critical songs to the album. Which side would you pick? Just comment below, even if it says no. You could even put no Ace, no Peter, no problem if you want to go back to another show that seems to like to say stuff like that. Or you can say Ace rules and throw a planet emoji in the comment. I like to do that with the lightning bolt and all that. So, or a thumbs up. But yeah, and keep share these videos. If you know other Kiss fans that you don't think are watching these videos and watching us be goofballs and me thrusting in the air in my chair and talking about our balls sticking to glass chairs and having big testicles and selling our testicles and just all the goofy shit we talk about, because like Rick says, it's about the fun of being a Kiss fan, it really is. And yeah, so individual stuff, and then we'll skedaddle. I gotta make sure my kids aren't burning my house down.
Oh, look, it's Shandy.
Shandy.
Wiener Boy's coming in.
Uh-oh.
Jealous.
Yep, that's how Goldie and Dixon are. Brandon, in my head channel, you know me. In my head channel on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever. But yeah, and T Public Store.
I'll
Got
make
some
sure to
stuff on
link
there.
it in the description.
Yeah, need
And
to add some more stuff. Patreon. Yep. Patreon subscribers, dwindling, but the ones I've got on there, I think that they're just there because they've been there since the beginning. And it's hard right now to do everything. We all know, I've heard Rick make videos, and Tommy, I've heard you make videos, and sometimes you just get honest with your viewers. And I think they really do appreciate the transparency. This is not easy to do this. It is sometimes you have to, it's hard to constantly come up with material. It can be expensive, and it requires dedication, and it requires a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people will never know. So, but I do appreciate people who continue to support me on Patreon and continue to watch and like and subscribe over on YouTube. So yeah, appreciate everybody.
Nice. AJR Zetro, 1975. AJ's Happy Fun Time channel. Check it out.
I love you so much. My gosh. I love it. It's all for you, Demon. YouTube, Instagram, T Public. Dog.
Link in the description.
Nostalgia.
Tommy at Clairvoyant Audio Files, or you can just Critical Kiss One. Let's say, speaking of what Brant was saying about how hard it is to do this sometimes, I know all four of us have had a pretty rough summer. And these last two especially, like, it was almost like I didn't want to do it, but I knew if I didn't, it would just continue that downward spiral that I've been going down and continuing to go down. But tonight is like that nonsense kiss therapy that I needed, and I want these guys on the screen to know that how much this meant to me tonight on a personal level. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna pull a Gene and get a little choked up, but a little verklempt. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate everybody who watches. And if you're seeing this, then I really thank you, because these videos can get off the rails quickly. But we always find a way to navigate back
Yeah.
into it. And a
Or
lot
just-
of off the rails get cut out. So
Or yeah, just edit it out.
yeah, edit her out. And with that being said, again, thank you guys for hanging out and reaching out to me. And on that, let's get out of here. See you next time. Peter
Yeah.
Chris.